there, Kendall Kids. It is Mr. King with another lesson. This one is for mainly the younger age groups, but we also modify this for older guys with different expectations. It is an assemblage and illustration piece where we are going to create our own or design our own robots. This design piece is about making a robot specifically with a function, something cool for you that you have invented. We check out the movie Iron Giant, and we talk a little bit about having a robot best friend and what that would mean if you actually got a chance to create that robot. So my guy right here is the Toymaker 3000. He not only is a cool robot that will help you out with stuff, but he has a 3D printer in his chest, and he will print you out whatever toy you want to have. Really kind of cool. I started making another one. I actually made a video before this tutorial for this, and guess what? I ran out of storage part of the way through. So here's my half-done robot from that video. This is the one that we were creating together. I had not made a function for him yet, but I'm going to show you really quickly how to get to this point, and then we'll work on this guy a little bit more. So the first part of this is to take a background sheet of paper. So that's going to be whatever color paper you want. Probably not white if you're going to use white paper for your robot, which I suggest you do so you can add marker on it freely. I use cardstock paper to give it a little bit more rigidity so it doesn't buckle too much with glue. But you can really use any kind of white paper you want, or even cardboard or whatever's kind of handy, or even colored construction paper of other sorts. So the way we get along to this where we are right now is we take our background paper. I'm using a large sheet of black construction paper, and we take out that cut up piece of paper into different kinds of rectangles, squares. You can use triangles and circles, or you can cut them out afterwards as you want. And then you start assembling it together to make your robot. So maybe this really small square becomes the head. I make a torso out of this rectangle. I could chop it up a little more so it's not such a tiny little head on a huge body, but I kind of like that. That's kind of funny in its own right. I can use smaller rectangles to make the arms, chop that up however I want. Same thing as legs, but you kind of start deciding how you want to put it together. One suggestion I have is think about weird ways to make arms or legs you wouldn't expect. Maybe you actually just draw the arms on the background paper as kind of weird bendy kind of tentacly arms, or maybe you do wheels instead of legs, or jets, or rockets and stuff like that. So all kinds of cool things you can do. Once you have that done, you take your glue stick and you glue down your paper into whatever shapes you want for your robot, and then you start drawing your details on top of that. Now I'm going to go and skip forward to the one that I started making last time on the video that kind of failed on me. So here's where I was. I had figured out that I wanted to assemble my robot, and here's the assemblage that I made. And I decided to do tank treads on the bottom, and I give him these kind of big Popeye arms. I haven't made hands on him yet, or decided if he even has hands, depending on what's going on with this robot. I haven't decided on this kind of special abilities. So I'm going to darken his mouth a little more because the last Sharpie that I used was running low on ink, so I just replaced it. I would suggest that you do outlining in a permanent marker like a Sharpie, because then you can go back in with your water-based markers like Mr. Sketch or Crayolas or Rose Art, where we're using. And the nice thing about that is because these are an alcohol-based marker, as soon as you put these down and you switch over to the water-based marker will not cause the alcohol marker to bleed and kind of ooze the colors in together. So you get nice crisp colors to stay where you want them to. The other thing I do suggest is you have some crayons available. I love construction paper crayons and how they look on this black paper. So I liked making those little in-between joint areas with those. And a cool trick and tip is, let's say that I want to make a hand right here for my guy. So I'm going to use a circle as my basis for the palm of my hand. And then I'm just going to make some fingers coming off of it. So draw them like little kind of ovals here. I only need to give him 3 primary fingers, and then I'm going to give him a thumb so he can act a little more human-like. Kind of cool, right? So I made my hand right there, but what I want to point out is that once you have made it the way that you want it, just adding a little more, kind of a little closer together here with the joints. Once you've made whatever piece of the way you want it, one really cool thing is that the black marker, or the black permanent marker, one of the really neat thing permanent marker does is it can draw directly on the waxiness of the crayons. So I can outline. You get nice kind of crisp cartoony lines on there, and I can also add things like some details onto those parts so they just feel a little bit more realized and interesting. And I just don't think enough people do this kind of stuff where you're mix and matching your materials and getting some multimedia stuff going on here. And I just think it looks very robot-like. Cool hand going on there. And then on this side, instead of doing a regular hand, what could we do? Well, why don't we take this piece of paper right here, and we'll use our scissors and we will cut it. And because my robot is going to help me out with my daily life, I'm going to make this into a little rhombus here. I think I'm using that right. If I said the wrong geometric shape, I believe that's a rhombus. It's not a parallelogram, I can tell you that. But trapezoid? Is it a rhombus or a trapezoid? I am not feeling my geometric shapes today. But I'm going to put that on the end. It's going to be a nozzle for my vacuum cleaner because I want my awesome robot to be able to help out picking up around the house and around my room. So that's going to help out, right? You got to get those toys cleaned up. And so he's got a vacuum hand, he's got a regular hand, he's my service bot. I am a huge, and okay, so you guys, not coffee, but hot cocoa, right? But, you know, for me, coffee. I love coffee, big on it. So why not, again, I'm putting it inside of his chest, maybe not original after I showed you the last one, but I've decided that mine will have a little coffee dispenser here. Can really show off that it is, man, I'm doing a pretty awful job with that drawing. But I can show off that it really is coffee too by making that a clear glass that's there. And then I'm gonna switch over to that brown marker. And because I did it in permanent marker, remember, I'm not gonna have the problems of the black getting picked up. It's gonna stay right there. Look at that, you get a little drizzle of coffee coming down into it. You know, so he's making some coffee for me. He's getting ready to clean up my room. You know, make sure that's really looking the part. You can add some nice little details like some buttons, maybe for like the cup size that you're gonna use. I'll add some colors to those in a minute. And now it's just really about details because I've already figured out he's gonna be my little service robot. He's got the, you know, that. You could come up with a lot of other stuff to add to him, but you know, this is all I really, really need. Definitely add some details. I'm gonna put some bolts here in the corners of his body right there. I'm gonna add maybe a bolt in the center of his arm up here. And then I like his face so far. I think I'm gonna leave the eyes just open and then add color to them and then call that good. But just to make the eyes a little more interesting, let's do a double outline. So there's like, you know, a colored area around the main eye section. And then he actually looks a little crazier that way, I have to admit. And yeah, you can do whatever you want with it, you know, cool stuff. I'm gonna add kind of like pseudo robot hair by just making a line across here and sectioning off the top of his head to like a little kind of grid, you know. And I just think he's already looking pretty good. He's looking good, looking good. So we're just gonna go with some colors, get creative with your coloring, have fun with it. Don't be tied down with just, you know, normal everyday colors. So, you know, get in there with your dark blues and your neon colors. The other thing I did point out last time in the video, again, that messed up, that I'll go over is I love using highlighters because when you're using them for illustrations and stuff, highlighters give you a very neon, vibrant look. So like these sections here where I wanted to make it look almost like they were like magnetically attracted together, I ended up using highlighter for that, and I think that looks really sharp that way. And one of the nice things too about gluing down this paper here, especially using the black paper, part of the wisdom of that is if you go off the edge of your shape, yeah, there'll be a little ink in the black there, but it really won't be that visible, so it kind of hides your mistakes, which is nice. And the nice thing too is if you make a mistake on one of these and really misdraw it, you could just peel it up, just careful not to rip the paper too badly underneath, and then you know, put it down again, try it again, try a different way. Let's do a little bit of blue here on this little button. And I'm gonna use some orange in the middle button. And what am I gonna do the last color there? Let's go with something that I haven't done so far. A little red, a little red. So red button, orange button, blue button. Different sizes of coffee. And there you have it. That's basically my dude right now. My robot's looking pretty sharp. I could do all kinds of other details that I want to. It's really gonna be up to you. I can make like wires coming out and stuff like that. You know, maybe an interesting idea would be to take my marker here and give him wacky, like wire hair. You know, maybe switch between this kind of pinkish color or this reddish pinkish color. Get some green there for some other strands of this like wired hair. And you might say, how does that look like wire? Well, two ways. Number one, got a nice little black outline here. And then to look like the copper of the wire sticking out from the middle, I'm gonna grab my yellow construction paper crayon just a minute and just add a little tab of yellow on the end of it. I think it looks kind of like, for whatever reason, like he's got wires sticking up like hair out of his head. The orange actually might look good for this. Orange or yellow? Yellow. We'll do yellow. Gotta peel the wrapper off a little more. You know, either wires or birthday candles gone amok. Who knows? But I still think that looks pretty cool. He's got wire sticking up out of his head. He's got a tread down here on the bottom to roll around. We do need to add a little detail on that to make it really look like a tread, but that's easy. Just some little stripes here to make it look like those sections of the tread. And I could keep going on. I could add lots and lots. I could really do this for, I could easily spend an hour alone on this guy, just making him look as cool as possible. But I dig him. I think he's good. So that's really it, guys. Nothing more to it. Just collaging together your own robotic creation. It's a design for you. Be creative about it. Think about how you could make your robot unique and different and fun. Think about what you'd wish for if you could have your robot do something. One of my other favorites, one of my students made a robot that just had all kinds of different candy that came out, that like it had like little storage spots for each kind of candy. Like it was his own mobile candy store robot, and it made more candy too. So just, you know, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. So anyways, have an awesome time. I will catch you later. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.